when you put all these accessories together, does Vivo calling it the V single still feel like hype, or does it actually live up to the name? The Vivo X300 Ultra clearly positions itself as a serious camera flagship, and the experience here feels very different from before. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. Let's start with the camera. This shot was taken using the X300 Ultra paired with a frame shifting lens. At first glance, it might look pretty ordinary, but what if I told you the real story behind it? Take a closer look. This was captured at a 1600mm focal length. If we consider 23mm as 1x, that's nearly 70x zoom. Now here's another image taken at 3200mm. What's your impression? And this one as well, also shot at 3200mm. Even more surprising, all of these were taken handheld. Sounds unbelievable, right? Of course, night photography is always the big question. Shooting at 3200mm in low light is definitely more challenging due to handheld limitations and lighting conditions, so it won't match daytime performance. But here's a real-world night shot at 1600mm and another one under similar conditions. When you compare these with shots from the X200 Ultra in the same scene, it's clear that the older model struggles much more. This brings me to one of the key upgrades, the new 400mm teleconverter. It doesn't just make 1600mm shots possible on a smartphone, it actually delivers impressive image quality. In daylight, you can even push it to 3200mm. Now, take a look at this set of 1600mm samples. Notice anything? The depth of field stands out. The X300 Ultra not only captures sharper images, but even in close-up shots, it maintains a natural sense of depth that wasn't possible before. If there's already a noticeable difference at 1600mm, it's no surprise that the gap continues at 800mm. In these high-contrast scenes, you don't even need to zoom in to see that the X300 Ultra performs better while still preserving depth. From my own experience, this is very obvious. And in more demanding scenarios, the X300 Ultra clearly shows its strength at 800mm. Now let's look at 400mm samples. One thing you'll immediately notice is the improved focusing performance. Even when trying to focus on backlit subjects, it manages to lock on effectively, which wasn't always the case before. As I've mentioned, teleconverters play two key roles, extending reach and improving autofocus. And this new 400mm teleconverter delivers a big leap in both areas. But what if you don't use the teleconverter at all? Is there still an improvement? Looking at these 35mm daytime samples, the X300 Ultra appears to offer better resolution. And it's not just a one-off. This trend continues across other shots. When you examine the details, you'll notice that earlier models apply heavier smoothing, while the X300 Ultra retains more natural detail. In challenging scenes, the improvement becomes even more obvious. The X300 Ultra handles both fine details and noise control more effectively. Thanks to its high-resolution main sensor, shooting in high-resolution mode produces incredibly rich detail. At 85mm, the comparison becomes even clearer. The X300 Ultra delivers noticeably sharper results with better dynamic range. Moving to 35mm, while the X200 Ultra is still capable, the X300 Ultra pulls ahead with cleaner detail. In flower shots especially, the X200 Ultra tends to over-sharpen, giving an unnatural look, while the X300 Ultra feels more refined. This reflects Vivo's updated photography style, which is a big shift in this generation. Even at 460mm, roughly a 20x zoom scenario, the X300 Ultra continues to perform strongly. That said, it's not perfect across every focal length. At around 230mm, for example, it can fall slightly behind, and in some 460mm comparisons, the X300S still manages to produce better results. So while the X300 Ultra is highly capable, there are still small trade-offs. I also tested the ultra-wide camera in night conditions. The improvement here isn't as dramatic as with the main and telephoto cameras, but the image quality is still among the best you'll find on any smartphone. Beyond hardware, Vivo has also introduced a fresh color style, along with the blueprint color profile and new image presets, giving photos a more distinctive look. Overall, from the main camera to the telephoto system, the sensor upgrades bring a clear improvement in performance, and that 400mm teleconverter really stands out. It delivers a fully usable 1600mm shooting experience in both day and night, which is honestly impressive. So if you're planning to get a teleconverter with the Ultra, it makes more sense to go straight for the 400mm version instead of the standard kit, assuming official support is available. I didn't spend too much time testing portraits or video, but I did try some video recording on the X300 Ultra. The interface alone feels very professional, which is exciting to see. However, for most people, the biggest challenge with log shooting isn't enabling it. It's handling color grading afterward. Vivo addresses this really well. Not only does the phone support full focal length 4K 120fps 10-bit log recording, but it also provides built-in 3D LUTs that you can apply directly on the device. And honestly, the results often look better than manual post-processing. On top of that, there are 2 cinematic styles available for instant output. So the video capabilities here aren't just high-end, they're also designed to be user-friendly. And that's exactly why Vivo calls it the V-Single. From everything we've seen, this isn't just a marketing label, it's a genuinely powerful system. Now let's talk about battery life and gaming performance. Compared to the previous Ultra model, the new X300 Ultra packs a much larger 6600 mAh battery. For my testing, I forced the RK resolution to stay enabled and paired it with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen5 processor. These results come from real-world testing across 3 different usage scenarios, going from 100% all the way down to shutdown, and you can see the battery performance for each case. In gaming, the results are pretty consistent with other Vivo devices. After a 4-hour heavy usage simulation, the phone still had 44.87% battery left, which is actually quite solid by today's standards. Overall, the battery performance is very close to the X300 Pro and even slightly ahead of the iPhone 17 Pro in my testing. Charging is also fast, with 100-watt wired charging taking about 45 minutes to reach a full charge, and as expected from a flagship, it also supports 40-watt wireless charging. Gaming performance also gives us a good idea of how well the phone handles heat. During a 70-minute Genshin Impact session, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen5 handled things without any real issues. In the last 40 minutes of testing, the phone maintained an average frame rate of 60.2 FPS with a very strong 1% low of 59.3 FPS. Because of that stable performance, the average power consumption stayed around 4.24 watts. Temperature-wise, the front reached a maximum of 42.2 degrees Celsius, while the back hit 41.1 degrees Celsius. Importantly, the rendering resolution stayed at 873p, so there was no compromise there. In another 40-minute benchmark-style test, the average frame rate came in at 59.2 FPS, which is slightly lower. The frame rate graph showed some minor fluctuations, but there were no noticeable drops during gameplay. Power consumption was higher at 6.69 watts, and the rendering resolution increased to 982p. Temperatures also went up, with the front reaching 46.8 degrees and the back 45.2 degrees. The larger back panel might slightly impact heat dissipation, but overall, gaming performance remains very solid. Moving on to the display, this year's front screen is quite special. True 2K panels are becoming rare, but the X300 Ultra still uses one, along with BOE's Q10 Plus luminous material, which has proven to be very reliable in recent years. Compared to the X200 Ultra, this one uses a flat display, which makes the bezels look narrower. Some people don't like the 4-sided uniform bezel design, but personally, I think it feels smoother in daily use. What do you think? It does come with 8T LTPO, but compared to the earlier X300S, the frame rate tuning here is more aggressive. When you enable high frame rate mode, it's not just ultra motion, it actually lets you define high refresh behavior more directly. Once set, the system runs at a global high refresh rate, although apps like video players and maps default to 90 Hz, with the option to manually switch to 120 Hz. During stability testing, like playing Honkai Star Rail or browsing Weibo, I noticed that when the device temperature approached around 47 degrees Celsius, the refresh rate would drop slightly, but not all the way to 60 Hz. Instead, it would hover around 90 Hz and then return to 120 Hz once the load decreased. From what I observed, the system remains stable overall without major issues. If I had to point out a couple of drawbacks, one would be the ads placed inside the document folder. It feels unnecessary for a flagship device at this level. Another small thing is the floating window during game login, which could be better optimized, especially since drag and drop multitasking is already very convenient. Looking at the overall hardware, Vivo has packed in plenty of high-end features. The dual speakers have been upgraded with a custom 1697 unit on the top, delivering noticeably better sound compared to the previous generation. There's also a custom ultra-sensitive vibration motor, which improves haptic feedback significantly. These are things you can really feel if you try the phone in person. On top of that, you get all the expected flagship features like NFC, infrared, and an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor. Everything you'd expect from a top-tier device is here. In terms of design, the biggest change compared to the X200 Ultra is actually the removal of the camera button, which I personally see as a positive. At first glance, the X300 Ultra might look thicker in comparison reviews, but because the X200 Ultra used a 4-panel design, the official measurements still show the X300 Ultra as thinner. The front design feels familiar, but if you look closely, the X300 Ultra is slightly larger overall with a more pronounced camera bump, and that's because it packs in more powerful hardware. As for the system experience, there's really not much to criticize. With the updated visuals, smoother animations, and overall responsiveness, it's easily one of the best performing flagship systems right now. Everything feels fluid and polished, placing it among the top-tier devices in the industry. To wrap things up, this year's Ultra flagships from different brands all bring their own ideas to the table. With the X300 Ultra, Vivo has clearly pushed its camera system further, especially with improvements to the main camera and telephoto performance compared to the X200 Ultra. The upgraded teleconverter is a huge highlight, taking usability from 400mm and 800mm to a fully practical 1600mm focal length, which is honestly impressive. It's especially great for things like concert photography, where that extra reach really matters. Vivo has also put serious thought into video capabilities, making it fair to even compare this device to a mirrorless style shooting experience. For a phone with a 2K display, the battery life holds up well, roughly comparable to the iPhone 17 Pro Max in mixed usage, but it still falls a bit short compared to newer phones with even larger batteries. Performance-wise, there are slight fluctuations under heavy load, possibly due to the large body design, but nothing that significantly affects the overall experience. The design itself continues Vivo's signature style while leaning even more toward a camera-focused identity. The display, audio, and haptics are all standout features, and from my personal experience, the improvements are very noticeable. Overall, the system performance is right up there with the best, and the camera system, especially the teleconverter and video capabilities, is where this phone truly shines. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe and join our tech community. I'll see you in the next one.